Well, for any organization, and especially for large global organizations, I think the unification of the IT and the legal function, at least from a planning and a coordination and a process perspective, is critically important. To get those two groups, the IT group that supports the legal department and the legal department themselves working together in conjunction to solve this issue, I think is the most critical aspect. Well, when you look at legal risk, I think one of the most important things to look at is the very beginning of that process. The first part of that process, once you've gone through your initial assessment of the case and some of the early case analytics, I think the most important thing is your preservation obligation. That is where the majority of cases are won or lost, is especially when it comes to e-discovery and e-disclosure, is whether or not that preservation has been done in a defensible and a sound fashion. Well, I think one of the biggest things for leveraging a technology that has a forensic heritage at its core is it's not going to be constrained by the operating systems of today's computers or encryption that's pretty pervasive now, and there's many different types of encryption. The benefit of using a core forensic technology for your e-discovery is not only is it the most defensible process to use and the most defensible technology, but it's also going to be the one that covers the vast majority, if not all, of your systems in your IT environment. And it will do it with a very thorough fashion on a wide scalable basis because it's operating well below the operating systems. Well, with data volumes growing at an exponential rate every single year, it's clear that technology solutions have to be, first and foremost, incredibly scalable. Trying to go out and index up all the data across an entire global organization or even a small organization is infeasible. When data volumes were small, or when you're looking at a single server or a file share, an indexing approach may work for that environment, but it will never work for a larger organization. So I think scalability of technology across all endpoints will be the critical and defining factor. Well, I think in the last several years, or several years ago, most organizations were driven in a more reactive fashion. They would wait for some type of litigation or an event to occur before they actually tried to define the processes or take measures to go out there and start to assess their data environment. Now, more and more companies are adopting a proactive posture to go out there and identify their sources of data, identify their topology in their environment, and then try to put the systems and technology and processes in place to respond immediately and proactively when needed. Well, I think as we heard in some of the sessions here at the event, the Bribery Act is really nothing more in this particular case than a compelling reason for companies now to take actual action with some of their data environment and how they're going to go out and put in place technologies and processes and necessarily train up their people to deal with this new environment and this new compelling mandate. This is common around the world to have various types of critical events that occur, and in this market at this time, the Bribery Act is one of those times. I think there'll be a learning process. I think you'll have your leaders in the market, as you often do. That will probably be led by companies that have a global reach because they are subjected to other similar types of compliance initiatives or litigation mandates in other countries. So I think it'll be led by some of those larger organizations or global multinationals, but I think the market will soon follow after watching how they approach it. I think one of the key gains is just being able to meet with and network with so many different peers from in the industry, whether it be other technology providers or the legal teams or the IT groups within organizations that attend, or even just the luminaries and the analysts and other key people who influence and shape the e-discovery and the e-disclosure market. So that's, I think, the most compelling aspect of this event.